Hi, it's Thursday, November 9th, 2017, and I just decided to record a few commentaries. I call them Back to Basics because for us to understand the things that we do, we really need to understand the rationale behind them, the essence of why we have to do them, so that they can be relevant to our times. Thus, we don't dilute the importance or the significance of those practices. There's a fly here bugging me. Okay, so don't worry. Anyway, in the first of in this series is I want us to get to the bottom of, or to get to understand why we observe 1 week upon the death um, of someone. This is an Akan practice. The Akans in Ghana um, predominantly or typically the Asante or the Chi-speaking people observe the 1 week passing of a family member we call Nawakida. Now, what was the rationale behind it, or what's the significance behind that, and how relevant is it to our times, or how redundant or wasteful is it to our times now? First, we need to understand why we had to observe the 1 week of anyone passing. And when I say anyone passing, it wouldn't be anyone of prominence. That we had different practices and traditions for that, so we all know that. Or we can talk about that in subsequent videos. Now, the 1 week observation was just for that. Family members or family heads would get together and decide a day that the dead would be the final funeral rites for the dead would be performed. Now, in those days where there was no morgue, there was no, smart communication technology and all of that, the dead was kept for 3 days, okay, and monitored. After the third day, if there's no life detected in you, then we bury you. The 1 week was to allow time to inform all the family heads to get together to decide when the final funeral rites was supposed to be. Now, we live in times now that we have all the smart technology and all of that, so that when someone dies now, we typically have them taken to the hospital and they're pronounced dead, medically, scientifically dead. So we don't even have to keep them for that period of 3 days just to detect life in them. So we know when someone is dead, the very moment they are dead. So now, does it make any, is it of any prudence to keep that period still, open? Now, the 1 week idea was to allow for, errands or emissaries to go around to the different settlements that family members would have settled in to inform them of the passing of a family member. So we figured that within a week we should have had, been able to inform everybody that the person had truly passed and we needed to perform the final funeral rites. Now, we live in a situation now, or an era now, that when someone dies and medically, scientifically proven dead, the very moment they're dead, and we have communication gadgets and technology that announces their death, worldwide, instantly. Why do we still have to do this thing that has turned out to be a very extravagant venture that we, the living, to say, kind of abuse to show their status in society? I think it's about time that we really started serious conversations on how um, we keep the essence or the importance of our traditions and not just make them frivolous so that we cannot even defend them. So my question is, as a people, are we doing ourselves any good by just arbitrarily just doing stuff that used to be done centuries ago that didn't have the technology and the know-how that we have now, and also render us almost a very wasteful people when it comes to the very scarce resources that we have. So the point I'm trying to make is this 1 week thing, which all of a sudden every tribe in Ghana is trying to, start observing and all of that. Let's take a critical look. Let's go back to the basics where these things began and understand why they were there and how relevant they are to our times or how redundant they have become. In that effort, we will keep the importance or the significance of the practice and not, have it indefensible, and then we just have to do things anyhow. So I hope this, triggers um, a discourse where we can get um, to transform the way we celebrate some of these practices and move on as a people. Well, thank you for listening, and I will be doing a few more videos on things that we do and why we do them, and how I believe that by adjusting them or modifying our thought and our practices, we can help, in advancing our people and our nation. Thank you for listening. I'm Ibu Jabi. Look out for more videos.